Greetings my brothers and sisters. Hope you're all right out there. It's very cold over here in London. We've had snow for the last 2 days. It's sub-zero temperatures out there. I just went out a while ago to do my shopping, and my hands were cramped and numb because of the freezing temperatures, the sub-zero temperatures we have out there. But I hope wherever you are around the world, you're nice and warm and you're keeping well, you're keeping safe, and all of this coronavirus issue we have, we just hope it goes away very soon. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Chrissy B Emotive. Spread the words, tell your friends, tell your enemies, and tell your neighbors about our channel. Like the videos, the content we pull out. We try to make as much content and give you as much information as possible, and leave your comments down below. Thank you very much for your comments. Many of you have given a lot of feedback about Bunny Wailer's wife, who's still missing, unfortunately, Sister Jean. We pray to God that she's found. It's been 9 months now, I think 9 months since she's been missing, or 8 months. So we just hope that they find her. I think somebody knows where she is. But anyway, we're here to talk about Errol Dunkley today. Our reggae legend was 70 on the 6th of February. I mean, that's why they call it Reggae Month in Jamaica. That's why they call February Reggae Month in Jamaica, because so many icons and so many legends from reggae music were born in that month. Bob Marley, Dennis Brown, Bunny Ruggs of Third World, Errol Dunkley, Derek Harriott, and there's many more. And so we're here to just talk about Errol Dunkley for a bit. I mean, Errol Dunkley was one of the first reggae legends, believe it or not, that I was really introduced to. I was about 4 years of age. When I say introduced, not, in person, but in terms of music. Because my father had his big hit from 1978-79, A Little Way Different, which was released in Ararat Records, Dennis Bovell. Ararat Records, Dennis Bovell. And I still got the sleeve here somewhere, but the record is missing, because in those days, late 70s, early 80s, a lot of Caribbeans used to keep a lot of house parties, and we used to keep a lot of house parties. And what used to happen was that a lot of the people, or some of the people, used to come to our parties. They used to nick our records, and so what they used to do, they used to take the record out the sleeve and go on and leave with it underneath the arm, and then we just left with the empty cases. And so as a result, all I've got is just the sleeve over there somewhere, packed away in one of those boxes over there, and the record has been missing for over about 30 or 35 years or so. And so I'm going to try and get that record back. But as the very first introduction I had to a reggae artist, along with Darryl Wilson. I'll say Errol Dunkley, Darryl Wilson, Dennis Brown, Gregory Isaacs were the first reggae artists I was really became associated and affiliated with. And of course, a bit later on, Bob Marley. But Bob Marley's records were always played in the house anyway. But anyway, Errol Dunkley was born in Kingston, and like so many Jamaican legends and so many Jamaican artists, they started out really singing in the church, and Errol Dunkley was no different. Started singing in the local church, and then he would join, street corner groups, which is another prominent situation for a lot of budding reggae legend. When I say reggae, budding Jamaica, because at the time it wasn't called reggae. This was in the early 60s. That's just before ska. In those early days, a lot of budding Jamaican singers joined street corner groups, and Errol Dunkley was no different. He also used to dance, because his mother had a shop there in Kingston, and he used to dance outside his mother's shop for drops of pennies. And that was one of the things why a lot of people used to also go to the shop to buy, because Errol Dunkley was like an attraction, because he would dance, and a lot of passers-by would be amused by this young boy dancing. And as a result, they would drop pennies and pay him and give him money for dancing. And then as a result, they would also go into his mother's shop and purchase things and so on. But initially he was a dancer. Then he went from dancing to singing, and that's where the singing came from the dancing. But originally, but Errol Dunkley was so talented as a kid. And then Prince Buster was the producer. The great Prince Buster was a great producer who gave Errol Dunkley his first big break in the early 1960s, and proceeded to, release Errol Dunkley's first recording. Some of them haven't been released. He also teamed up with a very young Junior English. Junior English made his name over here in England as a lovers rock singer in the late 70s, early 80s. But there were boys in Jamaica at the time. This had been early 60s. and then they answered ad in the Gleaner. You know, many of you who know Jamaica, we know that the Gleaner is one of Jamaica's national newspapers, along with the Star. They answered the ad in the Gleaner for talent, for singing talent. So him and Junior English answered the ad in the Gleaner for singing talent, and it was Prince Buster. And so they went to see Prince Buster and passed the audition, and of course Errol Dunkley put out a few sides for Prince Buster, but you know, he never really went anywhere too fast. As I said, some of those songs weren't really released. Not long after that, he met Bunny Lee. Later on down the line, he would, you know, record for Bunny Lee in the 60s and then also into the 70s. But this time, when he met Bunny Lee wasn't even a producer yet. He wanted to be a singer. And so Bunny Lee took him to meet Joe Gibbs, who was just starting out in the business at that time. This is a time when Joe Gibbs, before he had his main studio at Retirement Crescent there in the 70s, and when Errol Thompson, the great engineer, had gone to work with him. At this time, Joe Gibbs was on his own, and he produced Roy Shirley's Hold Them, which is a big hit in the rocksteady period, and that's the period that really Errol Dunkley really emerged as a proper talent, and it became, as a result, Jamaica's second child star, because the first child star from Jamaica was Daryl Wilson, who started out in the very early 60s. He started out for Cox Dodd at Studio One in around 1961. He went on to sign a 5-year contract with Cox Dodd at Studio One. Errol Dunkley emerged about 5 years later in around 1966, when ska was slowing down and going into rocksteady. And then Joe Gibbs, at that time he was living in Guantanamo Bay, and he went there, when he was there, and he came back and he bought some records. In those days, a lot of Jamaican producers go over to various places like America and various other places to bring back foreign records for the sound system. But Joe Gibbs was living out there for a while. He came back, and he had this tune by Gloria Lynn called You're Gonna Need Me. And he gave it to Errol Dunkley, and Errol Dunkley liked it, and he covered the song successfully. And that was his first big hit in 1966 going into 1967, You're Gonna Need Me. And then afterwards, he just went from strength to strength. He recorded some more songs for Joe Gibbs, like You're the Scorcher. And after that, he went on to record for Sunday Pottinger. At that time, Sunday Pottinger's label was called Gay Feet, and she was the first woman producer on the island, the first female producer on the island of Jamaica. And then Errol Dunkley went on to record for her as well. Please Stop Your Lying, Girl, and Tell Me the Truth was a song he did for Sunday Pottinger. Then afterwards, he recorded for Bunny Lee, some songs for Bunny Lee. Then he went to Rupie Edwards in the early 70s, and he did remix of some of the earliest songs he did for Prince Buster, for Joe Gibbs, for Sonia Pottinger, and for Bunny Lee as well. You see, after that, there was a big song he did for Rupie Edwards called Darling Ooh, Your Love Is Amazing, in and around 1972. It was a #1 hit for him in that year of 1972. And then a few years later on, he came to England and recorded for Dennis Bovell's Ararat label. Like I mentioned to you before, the song A Little Way Different. He actually originally recorded it for Sunday Pottinger in the early 70s, and would go on to record it again in the late 70s, like I mentioned before. It was a big hit for him in the UK reggae charts in 1978 going into 1979. And the Ararat label, Dennis Bovell, you know, the frontman of Matumbi, he had a label called Ararat, and many artists would record for that label. And Errol Dunkley was one of those artists who recorded for him at that time. You know, he did some songs called Repatriation as well. I think he did Repatriation for Bunny Lee, if I'm not mistaken. That would have been around 1977 time. You know, but he in the 70s, and he had a big hit. That was in the 70s. He had a big hit with OK Fred in 1979, and he went on to Top of the Pops. OK Fred was a big top 20 hit for Errol Dunkley. It was a cover. It wasn't John Holt. It was another soul. It was a soul singer actually wrote the song. Name will lose me right now, but John Holt was the first man to really sing OK Fred in reggae. You know, before that, it was never done in reggae. Before, it was only done in soul. It's a soul song, and John Holt proceeded to cover it. The first man to cover it in reggae. Then Errol Dunkley covered it again and took it into the charts in 1979. He also did a follow-up called Peekaboo. You see, Peekaboo was a follow-up for him around that time as well. And Errol Dunkley, wherever he's been, he's always been a great performer on stage. Even though the hits dried up after the 70s, he was always in demand because of his legendary status from Jamaica when he had those hits with Rupert Edwards, with Joe Gibbs, and then when he came over here and to the UK, he had those hits with Arat Records, uh, Arat Records. A little way different, and then OK Fred, which was a big hit. As I said, he went at the top of the pops to perform that song. But he's a living legend. He's outlast many legends in Jamaica, still with us as well, marking 70 years, the 6th of February. Of course, that's Bob Marley's birthday, but we have to give a plug into Errol Dunkley, who's a living legend. We can't forget these men. And so we say thank you so much to Errol Dunkley, who has been a great voice. He's one of my favourite reggae singers, a great voice in reggae music and doing great wonders. And as I said, he's a great stage performer, a great live performer. He's toured all over the world. He's a legend, and we say thank you so much and salute to you, Mr. Errol Dunkley. And so once again, we say big up yourselves, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And as I said, share, like, subscribe. Thank you so much, my brothers and sisters. Peace out. One love. Guidance.